trader's flame. Hola, prime, the rhythm of the trade, where the bold and the fearless are made. From London to New York, the thrills the same. Step into the beat of the Hola prime game. Fortune favors those who dare. In the heartbeat of the market we declare, Hola prime is more than a name. It's the pulse of the trade, the trader's flame, the trade. Chasing the charts under neon skies. Hola prime's the name where the profits rise. Fingers on the keys, dreams taking flight. We trade the future, we own the night. Hola prime, the rhythm of the trade, where the bold and the fearless are made. From London to New York.
Hello, everybody. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is the Hola Prime Market News Update. For the U.S. equity markets, we saw some selling pressure today after a very bullish Friday session. The S&P 500 traded down 0.39%, closing at 6459.5. The Nasdaq lost 0.36% and closed at 23,500. While the Dow Jones saw the most selling pressure on the day, losing 0.74% and closing at 45,390. For market news, the S&P 500 index will replace Walgreens Boots Alliance with Interactive Brokers Group effective August 28th, a subtly historic day, with Walgreens having been a part of the S&P 500 for about 46 years. In other news, this afternoon, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a trade tariff deal is likely done with South Korea. More details should emerge in the coming days. Also, in reference to South Korea's consumer sentiment came in at 111.4, a little bit higher than the previous reading of 110.8. In the Forex space, the US dollar showed strength today amongst the major currency pairs after getting beat up on Friday when Jerome Powell's dovish demeanor at Jackson Hole sparked some feeling of a likely rate cut in September. The Euro USD sold off today, the most of the major pairs, down 0.87%, closing at 1.1634 and currently trading at the same level. CAD USD logged a 0.23% loss on the day from Friday's session close. The pair is currently trading at 0.7224. GBP USD is currently trading at 1.3457, down about 0.56% on the day on lower volume. The Swiss franc traded down 0.57% versus the US dollar in today's session, giving back more than half of Friday's session's gains. The Swiss franc is currently trading at 1.244 on the day. Lastly, the New Zealand dollar gave back 0.36% to the US dollar in today's session and currently sits at 0.5855. For your crypto update, cryptocurrencies suffered a large loss over the weekend and today. Bitcoin dropped about 2.5% and is currently trading at 110,275 as of this writing. Ethereum is down 9.6% and is currently trading at $4,382. And to touch on some others, we have Litecoin down over 11%, trading at 108.02. XRP down 6.45%, trading at 2.86. And Solana is down 9.45%, trading at 186.93. For commodities, gold futures are down about 0.2% today and are currently trading at $3,408 per troy ounce after seeing a strong $34 gain on Friday. Silver fared a bit worse, losing 0.9% in today's session and closing at $38.57.5. WTI crude oil futures continued their rally from the $62 support level last week and were up 1.53% today, closing at $64.75 per barrel. Some key events ahead tomorrow. We have regular and core durable good orders month over month releasing at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And also we have the CB Consumer Confidence and Richmond Manufacturing Index data coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, without further ado, it is time for our Quiet Markets live trading session with both myself and Coach Tiger. So let's get to the trading. Coach
What's
Tiger.
going on? Coach P.
Yo. Nothing much,
How's
man.
your day?
Good. It was good. It was good. Definitely a good day. It was green. I was up about $330 on the day. Gave back a little bit at the
Nice.
end. So I was up like 430, but I gave back 100, wanting to make some Dow trades. So got a little bit of resentment towards the Dow today, but still a great day. Great day for sure. I had some actually. Before I ask about your day, I did want to mention I traded today. I traded the ES, the 10-year note, live cattle, and soybeans. Had green trades on all four of those during the regular trading hour session, which is hilarious, to be honest. It's like hilarious to trade such a variety of products. And then I'm just getting into such a weird variety of stuff. But yeah, and then obviously the Dow was it was a little bit of the death of me. But yeah, it was pretty funny to be trading that kind of variety there. How was your day? How was everything with the Forex pairs and gold and whatnot?
Very, very quiet for Forex Fire. Everything was straight sideways. So, we had the big spike obviously on Friday on everything, and then on a lot of the stuff I was looking at everything kind of pulled back somewhat, like maybe anywhere from like 10 to 20%. So it was just kind of hanging out in no man's land for the most part of the day. But finally did get a break on the euro dollar. So I'm in that trade right now as we speak. So yeah, I'll definitely be showing that here in a minute. But yeah, just quiet, man. I was trying everything. I was looking at scalping. I was looking at the 30-second charts, 4 hour, the 1 hour. There just was nothing setting up this morning, and it made sense. I figured it probably would be like that with everybody kind of digesting Friday over our Sunday evening / Monday. But yeah, I didn't see anything worth jumping in, not even for example's sake. So, but I think we're starting to get a little movement on a couple things, and hence why I'm in the euro dollar trade. So definitely be showing that here in a couple minutes. But
cool.
I heard. I remember hearing you on stream saying a couple of the indices were kind of sideways, and a couple of them were going, I think, of the opposite way of what you were looking for. Does that sound right?
Yeah. It was like the NASDAQ was clearly trending in one direction, and the Dow was clearly trending in the other direction for a good portion of the day, and then the ES was kind of like mimicking the NQ a little bit, but like was floundering a little bit more. So there wasn't as much like decisiveness in the ES, in my opinion. So it was more like for my personal taste, it was like either go with the Dow or the Nasdaq, and you'll get a little bit of a clearer trend between the three indices. But actually, the Russell, I think the Russell kind of mimicked the ES at one point as well until like the afternoon or something, and it had a relatively clear trend. But don't quote me on that. I was looking at the Russell really for a small bit of time, but I think it had a really good trend at least in the afternoon. But anyway, I did kind of give up on the indices, relatively speaking, for like most of the day after my one ES scalp that I had literally off the opening couple minutes. Until the Dow started to pique my interest in the late afternoon, which was what it was. But yeah. Do you want to share your screen for the Euro trade, or do you need a couple minutes?
No, I'm ready. I'm good. I was going to kind of go briefly over the COT report to see what the banks did Friday on Friday's release. And then, I can definitely jump back in if you want to go ahead and pop on over. Looking at the Dixie chart at the moment, but we'll take a quick look at the COT. When it comes to the COT report, I'm giving the least credence to this report as I am on any other week, because obviously Friday kind of changed a lot of stuff for everybody and every single asset. But I always at least like to see where they left off on Tuesday, since it's accurate as of last Tuesday. It was quite mundane, to be honest. I feel like the banks and institutions just kind of kept things, didn't really go too aggressive in either direction outside of the Nikkei. Because if we look at this COT report, you see the Nikkei was a 7.97% gain. That's their net long percentage increase, right? So that's now 2 weeks in a row for the Nikkei. Last week was a 9%, 9.5%, I believe it was. Obviously the Nikkei is just like all the other indices, right? Pretty close to all-time highs. So looks to me like they're trying to take it further. But the pound was a 3.77% gain. Your Russell you was talking about was a 2.36%. And then everything else was pretty much either under 2% or above minus 2%. So that's just kind of like the equivalence of neutral, kind of the way I see it. As far as like, we don't have any -5s or -10s or plus, 10s or anything of that nature. So it didn't look to me like they were too aggressive in either direction for anything. And it makes sense too, because they were probably just waiting to see how Friday shook out with the lip flapping sessions. Right. So, but regardless of what this report shows though, I think it all changed. Obviously getting that dovish tilt out of Powell, J Powell, as they call him.
Yeah.
So, but the way I looked at the markets last evening / pretty much most of the day, it was just, we had that big spike in either direction, depending on what you were looking at. And then everything just kind of based sideways and just kind of slowly, a couple of them slowly started retracing, but not enough to really, it basically just kind of turned into a big contraction box when you look at all these assets on the higher time frame. So I think I kind of used the example this morning on, what was it, the Aussie dollar, I think it was, where you can just kind of get an idea of the picture. Let me see, was that the Aussie dollar? What was I looking at? Aussie dollar. I can't remember what asset I was looking at, but basically, obviously this one spiked higher since the dollar sold off on everything. But you kind of made the big move, and then the rest of the day / Sunday, everything just kind of went sideways. I mean, you had a little bit of an exit on this, outside of these contraction boxes later in the evening yesterday, and then it just kind of got pushed up. So grabbing liquidity under here. Obviously, it pushed up, grabbing liquidity under here. So that's just kind of where it's at. It's just some of those expansion type legs that I've been looking at, and just trying to decide which way the powers that be want to start trending it. So, right. Yeah, that's basically part of it. But again, I finally had a little bit of a breakout on the euro dollar. So I'll just show that trade briefly. So with euro dollar.
I was gonna say really
Yeah, what's up?
quick. Niche Crazy's in the chat. Good to see you, man.
What's going on?
Coach
Coach
Daryl's in the
D.
chat, and actually, and he commented something literally that I was just looking at too. Great minds think alike. I was trying to figure out why the heck like the Nasdaq and the ES and the Dow like made a sharp turn in the last like 45 minutes, and it was exactly
Mm-hmm.
what Coach Daryl's saying, where essentially Trump is talking about he's definitely removing Fed Governor Cook. Um,
Oh, okay.
so
Wow.
so yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. Uh,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
it already rebounded. It's already rebounded. Like the sell off happened. It wasn't even much of a sell off. It was a little bit of a sell off, and then the
Yeah.
rebound completely came back. It's like, oh wait, none of this probably matters much. So markets
Yeah.
just
Huh.
corrected. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the index CFDs, yeah, they kind of pretty much the same. Look like a little bit of a
Yeah.
drop, but a little bit of a rebound too. So, uh, wow, interesting. Yeah, I remember reading that in the news the other day about the consideration
That
of
he
that.
wanted
So,
to. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. He's
Yeah.
quick to pull the trigger too. You know,
He
if you haven't
is.
watched,
He really is.
if you guys and gals in the chat haven't watched The Apprentice that he starred in, back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, you got to go watch
Yeah.
it. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a few of the shows, but it's a good introduction to Donald Trump. Let's just say, if you're ever going to work for him, and he's really carried that same mentality his whole life, and obviously into the presidency. So, yeah, really, really interesting stuff. But yeah, just
Yeah.
let's see here, Coach. Off to eat dinner. Oh, okay. You know, it's funny. We were having BLTs today, and my sister actually burnt the bacon, so it turned from BLTs into regular sandwich meat sandwiches. We had to go out and turn all of our fans on, open all of our windows. So you may start to hear crickets and cicadas here at some point. No, it was good. I put some sliced habanero Carolina Reaper cheese on both sides of my sandwich. I'll tell you what, that was so freaking good, and it wasn't super spicy like you might think it was because of the mayo and the tomato slice. But man, that made that sandwich good. So I think it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you.
I mean, that sounds pretty delicious. I'm a little hungry. I didn't eat too much for dinner, so man, you're I want some bacon now, dude. Holy crap, I want some bacon.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
Well, we got some burnt bacon
great,
in the I told her to make it cat jerky for the cat. Yeah. Looks like we got a poll question. Best meme title for today's market. You got Chairman Powell, just a chair. You got Dead Calm Before the Storm. You got option 3, markets waiting for PMI o'clock. It's pretty clever. And you got flat lines and nap time. So there's your 4 options in the chat.
I like it.
Let me see which one am I gonna select here? PMI o'clock. That's hilarious. Okay, all right. I'll make that my option. Good stuff. Yeah, Apprentice was awesome, Coach D. I know. You know, it's funny. I've read a couple of Donald Trump's books, probably, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years ago, well before he, had ambitions for politics. And just getting an idea of like his mindset and how he operates was just crazy. Really, really interesting. So,
Right.
And I thought, and there was one book he wrote with Robert Kiyosaki, Why We Want You to Be Rich, I think was the title. And then another one he wrote, Think Like a Champion. And I always liked it. I thought it was good stuff, entertaining as always, and really good, really good, business sense. But so I never, and I never ever watched any of The Apprentice. Well, it's funny because back in 2004, I think it was when he started the show, I worked for the American Eagle Outfitters, and they actually featured American Eagle on one of the episodes where they had to design some AE clothing. So they showed us that at work when I was working there. And so that was my first time ever seeing seeing the show. But yeah, I watched that one episode. Hadn't seen any of it since until just like a few months ago. I kind of got into it just to see what some of the episodes were like. And yeah, cutthroat world. So talking about the firing today, that's not a surprise at all.
Right.
But anyway,
I never watched the show. But I'm not surprised. I mean, like I think a lot of people have gotten to know Trump over the last like 8 or so years to where it's like, I don't even know if this is necessarily a surprise. I feel like he does like to make very quick decisions and get things on, the ball rolling, like you were saying. So it totally
trigger
makes
finger
sense. I am short, by the
finger.
way. I am short some gold, by the way.
Okay.
At the moment.
Gold?
Okay. Yeah, just like I'm doing a little bit smaller size on the gold because I'm not as much of a fan of the gold trade lately. So especially to the short side, like shorting gold is kind of weird right now. But yeah, I'm just looking to do a little quick short here. Looks like it's coming down. Looks like I'm getting in the money here, so that's nice. Would love for it to come down to VWAP. And yeah, so I'm short at 34.23.5, and I'm looking for 34.18 would be the most optimal target. So yeah,
perfect. Well, I'll run through my trade real quick, and then if you want, we can pass over to you real quick, and I can always go over some of my top setups after. But yeah, for euro dollar, so I'm gonna who asked? Niche crazy. What are you guys looking at? I'll show you my watch list here in just a moment. First, I'll just go over this trade right quick. So yeah, euro dollar, it's giving me a bullish bias on the fundamentals. It's a 5. It's a score of a 5, so just makes the cut. Favored by the COT report, the seasonality, the MPMI report, CPI, employment change, unemployment rate, and the interest rates. That all favors the bullish bias, and there's really only a couple things against this. It says trend, which, yeah, I guess I could kind of agree with that. So potentially, I kind of look at it as sideways. I take sideways trends. I just, trend trades. I just we don't want to be buying on a strong downtrend. So I think that's where my algorithm says, -1 as far as the trend.
Yeah.
But yeah, those three, and then the PCE data. That's really the only 4 items that are going against it. Now, Friday, we, of course, have an updated PCE number coming out, which, as always, is the Fed's favorite inflation rate report. So as it stands, +5. So I have permission to buy. So I pretty well just identified this 30-minute demand right here, which is obviously that 30-minute candle before Powell's speech. And then, needless to say, we had just a ton of volume there for a couple hours or so. What was that on a 1 hour? Yeah, 1 hour. Really a couple hours. Yeah. Now that candle after the speech hour obviously was very small with pretty decent volume. So the effort really exceeded the result. So it's not really much of a surprise it started curling back around. So when it did, now this morning on all these pairs, I did have some demand zones up in this area. So up in the top part of the 9 a.m. Friday morning candle, if I go all the way down to like a 5-minute. But I knew they were going to be way too aggressive to be getting into some of these demands. And I definitely was looking for a pullback. So far, the euro dollar is the only one I've gotten that big pullback. Now, the U.S. Homes report had come out at 9 a.m. as well, and that was very strong for the dollar. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, it's more of a middle impact or medium impact report. It's not like it's a red folder event, but I mean, within half an hour after that, euro dollar just started dropping. So clearly the dollar gained some strength, which I was happy with because it's not really one of the main reports that I track on the algorithm. So with it being good for the dollar, I used that to my advantage and said, okay, well, you come down to my 30-minute demand zone, and I'm gonna get in. So actually missed the initial trade because that was about the time I was waking up somewhere in this area here, waking up from my nap. So what I ended up doing, because I had to go grocery shopping, so I needed to not miss out on this trade because I was basically looking for a pop above above this this red candle here. So I put in a buy stop order just so I didn't miss it, whenever I went to get groceries. And sure enough, it popped in there just nicely with some pretty good volume when the Asian market opened. So we'll see if it sustains itself. But I mean, it got close to a 1-to-1 already with a stop loss underneath the demand zone. So I'm just going to let that be. I think I put an alert on my trading view up a little higher so I can see if I want to maybe potentially push my take profit out a little farther. Obviously, bring in my stop loss and just kind of trail it on the way up. I don't know. That is a pretty strong 1 hour supply zone with some pretty good volume. So I may just leave it be and just take a 2-to-1. That's pretty much what it came out to be, was 2.1 to 1. So I may just take that for a quick profit. Once it starts bouncing into all this congestion up here, it could just sit there forever. So I may just take my gain if I can get it up there, and then just obviously look for the next setup. But looking good so far.
Yeah.
A little bit of a pullback for that initial pop, but we'll just let her be. We're just gonna let her fly, but up a few bucks at the moment, and then to answer your question, niche crazy. Yeah, so just looking at my top setups, it is obviously gold and silver, number one. Number two, silver is number one right now. So I've got a very bullish score of a 13 on silver and then a 12 on a gold. So not surprising. The dollar drops. Everything else kind of went up, all the other major currencies. So as a result, silver, gold tend to do the opposite. So they started spiking.
Yeah.
And you can see all blue on there for all the reports for the metals, except for the GDP. That's the only thing that really went against the bullish narrative. Everything else is bullish, except for unemployment rate. We're getting more of a neutral score on that. But this is what I like to add up collectively, get my number, and that kind of gives me an idea of how strong of a bullish or bearish bias it, something is. I always take out the neutral, which is +4 to -4. Those are just really more so inactionable items. I like to see a big list like this. Now, the last couple of weeks, it's been probably half this size. But yeah, gold or Jay Powell kind of changed everything. So got a lot more bullish and a lot more bearish items to be looking at. So, but yeah, silver, gold, number one. My euro dollar, obviously sitting there in a trade right now. I don't know why I put dollar South African rand in there. I don't even trade it, but looks like it's getting a very bearish score as well. But yeah, dollar Swiss, dollar Japanese yen. Those are the two main ones I'm watching on the short side. But the problem is they're just kind of stuck out in no man's land. Dollar Japanese yen, if I go back to my 1 hour, yeah, this is what I mean. We had the big drop and then just this slow grind up. Well, it's a very bearish score, so I'm basically waiting until we get back up. Same thing as the euro dollar, just waiting to get a retracement back up to the pre-speech price action and maybe look to go short at that point, because that's a pretty strong decline, obviously. I got a lot of drawings on here. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Yeah, as far as dollar Jap, yeah, just give me a simple retracement up to here. Look to sell it back down. That's pretty well the play of the week, I should say, because it may take a couple days. Dollar Jap to get back up there. Same thing for dollar Swiss. Kind of a similar picture. Last week, if you remember, I was looking for this supply up here, but obviously Friday pushed me down to a new level. So just looking for a simple retracement back in, just like the dollar Japanese yen. This one got closer, but looks like it spiked down again. So something like that. Basically what I'm looking for dollar Swiss. But yeah, that's really my two strongest bearish, my 2 or 3 strongest bullish at the moment. Wanted to see, I could go over some of my other ones later, but did you want to show us what you got going on your gold?
We can share my screen. I got out of my first trade, which I made just like 35 or 37 bucks on or something. And then I got back into the short and everything was looking really good until just about a minute and a half ago. And it looks like the buyers might be taking over. So let's just switch back to my screen here in a second.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's looking a little bit wonky here, but we'll see if sellers can take control again. I've got my my stop right above the 5-minute 9 EMA at the moment. So we'll see if that gets taken out actually right here in a second. Looks like the buyers are really trying hard here. They're trying. This is why I'm also doing micros, by the way, on gold, is because I know that right now gold is very volatile in general. So I'm not really willing to just go on the full minis tonight. There's just I'm gonna protect myself, feel good going into tomorrow, regardless of what happens. So don't mind giving it a little trade though tonight in the micros at least. So I will.
Wow, yeah, it did pop, didn't it? I'm just now seeing it.
Short one more. Oh, did it not do it here? Didn't do it. Okay, well, I went to short another one and it failed. Network error. Looks like the Project X platform is having a little bit of trouble here. So,
jiggle the handle.
Going to cancel those limit orders. Yeah, for real. Like that stinks because that would have been a good add to my short there. But no worries. I'll just if it wants to just go in my favor now and drop down to 34.18 and a half, that would be great too. That's fine. No worries. But
did you say that was one?
But yeah,
one contract or
I'm on 3 micros, so almost a third of a mini. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So not because if I was like in 3 minis right now with my risk, with my current risk, I would be risking about roughly $900 instead of $90. So it's a lot. Like if I was risking one mini, it would be 300-ish. $300-ish. So not willing to take that big of a bet tonight on tonight's price action. So especially with gold has been bullish, as we know, over the last few days, just generally speaking. So I just wonder how all this any fundamental stuff is going to affect gold from now. Are we going to get a push up to that 3,500 area before we see another retracement? Are we going to finally break out? Who knows?
Yeah,
but Rude Girl,
nice if that
good to see you in the chat. It's always nice to see you.
Hello.
I agree, Niche Crazy. We might see something tonight. I think the volatility tonight is very interesting. So hopefully the volatility can continue through the next hour and a half or so, and I can get into some more juicy trades. So
That's right. We're all pent up. We're ready to go. Pent up, ready for some action.
And this is a good example of why I choosing to downsize the position was just in this example alone shows you why that was the right position or move to make, is because I had to give this a 3-point stop to even allow for me to stay in this trade. And I barely stayed in this trade. I was 4 ticks away from being taken out. And then it came back almost to being break even here. And then we just saw a bunch of sellers get stopped and a quick little, burst here with a little bit of buyers. But point being is things are just really whippy. And if I don't give myself enough room, the trade's just not going to work. Tight stops will just get annihilated in this overnight session. So
yeah, that's true. Got a lot of people over in Asia that were taking it easy yesterday. They're ready to go this morning.
Yeah, they are.
It's kind of like what I explained yesterday. Like, just everybody ate the big Thanksgiving meal on Friday, and they just needed the whole weekend to digest. A couple days, 3 days to
Yeah.
digest before you can use it
Yep.
as energy, right? Which is where we're at. We've made it to the intestines. Here we go.
What worries me what worries me about this gold trade though, like being short this, is like there's all these Trump headlines coming out now, like
Yeah.
tonight, and like just one just came out 14 minutes ago. US President Donald Trump threatens to export curbs, tariffs, and digital tax. So it's just like all these things, like between the removing the Fed governor and all that stuff, like it's kind of weird, but like there might be actually be headline risk in this like early overnight session,
Yeah.
which I didn't think I would
Yeah. I
really
see that.
ever have to say. Um,
Yeah. Between
but
that, yep. Between that
yeah,
and what Coach Darrell said with Governor Cook getting the boot. Yeah,
yeah,
these aren't items we get a lot at this hour, huh?
no, and
News catalyst.
the only reason I'm gonna stay in this trade is because number one, I still think, just generally speaking, like what my thought is on this trend is intact, and I have the right thought. Like my stop, I have a good stop. I have a wide enough stop placed that makes sense based
Yep.
on the trend with the EMA, and then the closest like magnet of liquidity is down in the 34.18 level, and my target profit is at 34.18.5 right before that liquidity. So I just think that the trade makes sense. I'm risking 3 to make like 4ish, something like that, and the
Mhm.
structure is there on the bid and offer, and on the depth of market. So let's just see. Like sellers really need to step it up here. Like we're at 34.21 and a half, or 31.22, actually 34.22 now. And this is where the sellers need to dominate, because they've been trying with heavier volume to sell through this area, and then they've gotten rejected a couple times now. But each rejection came with a shallower like bull run. So
Mhm.
right now we have a little pop going here. This literally needs to be flamed out immediately. Like if it's not, it's just, I don't know if it's going to have any. I don't think it's not going to have much legs if it doesn't get flamed out, like literally right here at 34.23.6.
Go nine.
Fire.
Go nine EMA. Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm with you. I mean, here's the thing. I want to buy the market, but there's no way in heck I want to buy it this expensive. So I'm looking for a big down move too. Um,
Yeah.
for me it would be the 30-minute demand zone of, well, basically the 6:30 Central Time candle, or probably 7:30 your time on a 30-minute.
Mm.
That's one spot, but I really prefer an even bigger discount for the CFD, or for the, down at 33, 37 level for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking for a big, but yeah, there's no way in heck I would want to buy up in this area. So hopefully the sellers hop
Yeah.
on there for you.
It is a weird one. I mean, if I look at the daily chart, if we just, geez, like something's going on with platform here that is delaying everything. It's way
Oh,
slower than
well.
usual. But if you look at the general, like we're kind of like in the middle of this range. Like I could easily
Mm,
see gold popping up $80 before coming back down. It doesn't necessarily
right.
have to drop from here to come back down to be a buy. It could easily just pop for the next couple days, and then just have the sharp reversal for like a week or something. And this trade is looking not so great. The indices kind of look like they're about to round, like kind of sell off in a way here. If we pull up the NQ, or sorry, ES here. I'm just wondering what the correlation between the indices are going to be for this overnight session with gold, whether they're going to correlate together or they're going to go against each other here. But we're seeing some resistance on the ES and the NASDAQ at the kind of this, it's got the same shape. This feels like this is such a no man's land. It feels like a 50-50 flip of a coin, honestly, which isn't good. The way that all this is planning out, like, or working itself out.
Yeah.
Gold is turning back down again. This is just very, very iffy. This is like one of those ones where you just sit in it for like 20 minutes and it consolidates and then it eventually breaks one of the ways. So we'll see if it breaks in my favor. But gosh,
No,
did I get down? No, I didn't. Okay.
Did you?
No, I did
No
not.
sleep curator. Okay, coaches, who in your opinion is the best Hola Prime coach in their respective areas? That is an unfair question, Paul. I think everybody's awesome. I think every single coach we have has things that I've learned, even if it's from you guys, you futures coaches. I've learned a lot just from watching every single one.
Yeah.
It's really cool to get all the little nuances. You guys kind of trade similar, I think, from what I see as a non-futures trader. But I know you have your own different nuances.
Yeah.
But that's unfair to pick because every single coach we have has something to offer the table that I've learned from.
Yeah.
So no, I can't pick a favorite.
Yeah.
That's unfair. That's impossible.
Yeah. I would never pick a favorite. I don't have a favorite. I just I enjoy everybody's company and everybody brings something different to the table, which, like you were saying, we trade similarly on the futures side, but we have a bunch of different things that make us unique, and our trade ideas unique, and our plans and strategies unique. So, and then on the Forex side, I'm sure the same goes for you guys. And so, yeah, there's no way I have a favorite. I just enjoy everybody. Honestly, I enjoy everybody's company, and I enjoy seeing how everybody trades and learning about the different methods. So,
all right, no sleep. I'll answer that last question. Who goes head to head? Who would come out on top? I'll say me, but that's only because I'm 6'4" tall. I'm probably the tallest one. So height related, not trading related, but there's your answer.
Yeah, that's great.
I actually went. Yeah, I had to go to. I went and got some new jeans over the weekend, and I have to go to Buckle because that's the only place I can find them where they're my length and stretched the right way. So $80 later for a pair of jeans, right?
God, dude.
Buckle is, they're pricey, but they're the only place that I can find them my length. And
that is so
waist,
rough.
right? It's got to be a combination. Yeah.
Being
tall
that's
and
the worst part about
shopping.
being a giant. Yeah, being a giant's the worst. Like, I had Tiger. I had a friend in high school. He was 6'9", and
oh wow,
and like, it's funny because his whole family was just a family of giants. Like, his dad was 6'8", his mom was 6'5", his sister was 6'7", his brother was 6'8", and he was 6'9". Like, they were literally all just large people.
Man.
And he would tell me about, like, he was like, he would talk about the shopping stuff being like, he would always be wearing like generic things. He didn't even have the ability to usually like buy anything of like a designer or of any sort. Like, it's always just like a brand you don't know because it's just too funny, man. I sympathize.
And the problem is I can't even shop at the big and tall store because everything that's my length, for whatever reason, they have the waist is always too big. I'm just tall and I guess slender. Like, if you're going to have a big and tall, then just remember some of us have waists that are a little smaller. Because we're tall doesn't mean we're 90 feet wide all the time. So, no, Buckle's it. I mean, I worked for American Eagle for 10 years, and I had, every single time we'd go to the store, they never had my size, so I'd always have to buy my jeans online where they have the tall sizes only. So it was just a pain in the ass, Paul.
Dude. That's the worst.
Yeah.
Man,
But
dude,
anyway,
gold and the indices were just turning over, and gold was following suit, and then gold just like pops back up here again. Like it is just being a stubborn guy right now. It is really
yeah.
trying to fend off the sellers, but I believe it's gonna make its downturn at some point. It's just being very stubborn. It's quite annoying, to be honest, to be a
Well,
part
I
of this
gotta say,
consolidation move.
I'm at least happy to see that gold over the last couple hours has made some new lows and some new highs. I mean,
Yeah.
thankfully we're getting a little volatility, so that's a kudos to that. But yeah, a little annoying for you at the same time on that time frame, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I will say, I just for the sake of like holding true to this trade, I just want to hold on to it. But there was a big part of me when it dipped down into that 34.20 area that I was like, I just don't want to
Mhm.
even be a part of this trade anymore. I just want to get out of it. But I think it's going to happen. I just have to be a little bit more patient here. The
Yeah.
NASDAQ is starting to turn down a little bit. The Dow is definitely turning down. And the ES is following suit as well. So everything seems to be pulling downwards, and I think that gold is trying to correlate, like positively correlate with the indices.
Ah.
So you know, so I definitely I think it's going to work. It's just taken a lot of struggle. Sellers are struggling, but I think they're going to get the job done.
So how often on the futures market, how often do you see the gold correlate with the indices like that, like what you're looking for?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. Like it's funny because in like recent history with gold just being so bullish, it relatively would be positively correlated with all the indices because the indices are making have been making all time highs, and then gold
Mhm.
just generally speaking has been super bullish. So it is I would assume just generally speaking it's positively correlated as of the last like uh, in the shorter term. I'm not talking over like 20 years of time or anything, but usually what I
Right.
think is like when you have like for example, if you have like a risk on type of investment like the NASDAQ, you would expect something like gold to be more risk off. Like the point of gold is to be, a store of value. So usually I think of like equities being a little bit more risk on, and you would think there'd be a little bit more of a negative correlation, but that's not the case as of recent history. So my thought being, because of recent history and the positive correlation being a thing, that they would positively correlate with each other right now, and it would all be good. But at the same time, in like the indices haven't been making like a flag pattern like gold is. Gold is just consolidating in that huge range for 4 months, whereas the indices aren't doing that. So it's tough to say.
Mhm.
It's tough to say, to be quite honest. But gold is really trying. Buyers are like so adamant to try and get out, and then every time they get to the EMAs that I have, they fail, and they're
Yeah.
testing the EMAs again to the upside here, and they might break. It looks like they're breaking
Yeah.
through. They're trying to break through. Let's see on the 5 minute
Thank
here.
you.
Oh, there it is. Come on. It's going to take me out. Okay, there it goes. All right. I was going to say, I was like, come on. I didn't get ticked out of that. That's crazy. So, yeah, just got ticked out of
Living
that.
on the
Might
edge.
switch over to the NQ here.
Living
Think.
on the edge. Do, 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 do. Do,
I
do,
will laugh
do,
if
do.
gold now follows suit and just dives now. That would be hilarious if I got wicked out of that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to.
Come grab your liquidity and say, thanks, Paul. I'm going south for the winter.
Yeah, for real. I did
Oh,
just
we
get
had to, we,
short the NQ. So
oh,
FYI.
okay. Nice. Yeah, we finally had a nice, brisk, cool morning this morning when I finished Forex Fire. It was marvelous.
Nice.
Now,
Very nice.
brisk, cool here at this time of year is about, I think it was 60 degrees. But no, I felt nice.
Mm-hmm.
Could have walked out around with jeans if you wanted to. Maybe even a light jacket. Oh, it's great. I'm ready for fall. I'm actually
Me
ready
too,
for
man.
it. Ready for some
Me too.
bonfires. That's what I'm ready for. Fall colors, all that fun stuff. Get tired of the summer at some point. It just gets too hot all the time here. Kansas is the worst. I mean, I know it gets hot in Florida, but the heat here is just a lot more.
It's
I don't know.
different.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like it's not humid like you guys have it there. It's not as humid, but I mean, it can still get pretty freaking humid at times. But we get the triple digits usually for about a week or so in the middle of July, and you just want to like move North Pole during that week.
Right.
South Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of mid 90s, a lot of high 90s here, which I mean, I like it. Like I would much rather it be 100 degrees than 20 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just like no matter where you live, you always complain about the current season. You're like, oh, I wish it were hotter, or I wish it were cooler now. Like nobody's ever satisfied. Especially
it's true, man. It is so true. Like I will say, like I personally, I can take the heat better than I can take the cold. So as much as I will complain about, the heat, I'd much rather take, the heat than the cold for sure. I mean, I do enjoy the cold every once in a while. It's just nice to feel like some briskness to you and whatnot. But, shoveling driveways and, being in the 20, 30 degree, 40 degree weather all the time, not so great. So,
yeah. Well, it's no reason that people here complain because we have a very, very distinct all 4 seasons. Like it's, like you got it pretty warm year round, right? So, but no, here it just seems like it's whatever the temperature is for a couple 3 months. Everybody loves it, and then they complain about it towards the end. They're ready for the next one. They'll be happy with it for a few weeks, and then they'll start complaining. They'll be ready for it to cool down. Yeah, we definitely get distinct seasons here, so nobody's ever satisfied.
We'll get Florida will get probably at the most a month of cold weather, and then it'll just go back, and it'll just go back to being good old Florida. But but that's for central to South Florida. Like North Florida, that's different. They get cold a lot. Yeah. They get colder temperatures, generally speaking. But cold to me is we will get for a month's time. We will get weather in the 50s, between the 30s and the 50s, is what I mean. By cold. Yeah, and that's not even that's not even that cold. But for Florida, it's cold. So
yeah, for sure. No, I got a sister in Port St. Lucie, and she'll complain when it gets down to the 60s. I'm like, cry me a river when we've got 0 degree temperatures and 5 and 10 degree. We'll usually have about a week or so where we'll get down to -10.
Right.
That's about the coldest it gets, and it's usually like that. Yeah, about once this winter. Usually in early January, it'll get down to about -5, -10, and we're just miserable here. We feel like polar bears. So, but no, I mean, if it's down in the 30s, I'll walk around without a jacket. I'm hot-blooded. I don't like to wear jackets, but if it starts getting down to the 20s, I'll put a jacket on if I'm going to the store or something. But yeah, Mom always yelled at me growing up, "Put your coat on, son." I don't like it. Everybody, you dang hillbilly, so don't you have a coat?
I was the same way though when I was a kid and I lived up north. I grew up in Pennsylvania, And when I was a kid and my mom would tell me to put a jacket on, it'd be like literally 25 degrees. And I'd be like, I want to go play basketball with my friends. And she'd be like, get a jacket. I literally just bring the jacket, throw it on the ground, then we play. It was same way though. Like, as a kid, it wasn't a problem, but the older you get, I guess, and then the more you live in, warmer weather, you don't get used to that cold you're not used to that cold anymore, and your blood all of a sudden just can't handle it. So,
Yeah. No, we definitely get the cold. We have to get. Well, it's just weird how you adapt here in Kansas. Like, yeah, that first couple chilly days sucks, but it seems like everybody just gets used to it. And then,
yep.
Yeah, you slowly get to where, oh, okay, I don't need a jacket today. It's the same temperature. Nothing's changed. In fact, it's gotten a little cooler. But you kind of toughen up a little bit over that first couple chilly days. And then, then everybody runs around without a coat.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird. But, yeah, we're used to it because we got to do it every year.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this NASDAQ trade is going nowhere fast, man, and it is getting quite aggravating. Just like the gold trade, all of a sudden, we are at a standstill. Looks like buyers wanted to push up again all of a sudden, and now we're falling flat at the EMAs, and there might be a downturn here to help the short position out that I am in on the NQ. But I am not expecting anything at this point. I probably, after this NQ trade, whatever does happen, whether we start falling or I get stopped out, I'm going to probably take a step back, analyze some of the different products here and see what I'd want to take a trade on next, and just give myself a little bit of breathing room here, because I kind of got into 3 trades within 25 minutes in the overnight session. So I probably got to cool off a little bit and just, let the markets
Stalk
breathe.
your prey. Stalk your next prey.
It's a good way to put it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on.
That makes sense.
Come on, NASDAQ. Let's go, NASDAQ.
Just drop.
Just drop.
Get your magnet underneath. There you go. There you go. Hop on down past 3-minute or 15-minute candle. 15-minute to go candle. There you go.
Here we go.
There you go. There you go.
Don't
go down.
Just give me the 1-to-1. Give me the 1-to-1.
Would it wick in and come back before giving it to you?
No, I moved it. I moved it back I moved it back to 8 points instead of. I had it at 14 points in case it just had a massive drop, like really quick.
Yeah,
because the NASDAQ will do that where it could drop like 10 points, especially like in the overnight session. So I wanted to put it down to give me a little bit more possible profit, but it only did like a 7-point drop or something. And I'll take the 1-to-1 and I'll log that win. Honestly, I'll take it because
there you go.
This action is a little weird. So up $100.
Yeah, I kind of do that. I kind of do the same thing whenever I'm sitting in a trade for a couple days or so. Like if it's a trade where I feel like it's going to go way past my alert, my take profit, or where I think the take profit is, I'll do that. I'll send the take profit just to some crazy number, just in case it just has a crazy spike. So long as I'm already in a profit or something. But I do the same thing sometimes.
Right. No, and that's like it's not something I do all the time or anything. It just knowing that this is the overnight, the order book is a little bit less liquid. There's more of a chance of something like that happening for me here.
Sure.
Especially given just the volatility in general of tonight. It's worth the shot for me. Essentially, I was just taking the shot, but the reason why once it didn't happen within 5 seconds of that move occurring, the reason why I just moved my target profit up to 1-to-1 essentially was because I just simply put, I don't trust this market. I don't trust anything right now.
Right.
I as bearish as the NQ is starting to look, along with the ES and the Dow, from a a technical perspective, the way that the charts are looking, sure, it looks bearish, but at any second, literally, like we said before, Trump is like there's random Trump headlines coming out. I don't know what the headline risk is for tonight. And then on top of that, with like gold, gold was looking great, and then it just got absolutely blew up in my face there on that short. And as I say that, literally that big wick down that I was talking about happened 2.5 minutes later on the NASDAQ here. So it definitely it's going down now.
Yeah, silver hasn't really followed suit like gold. It's still doing just that slower grind down. It's had a recent retrace up, but yeah, it looks to me like, with gold, you had obviously after the big move Friday, everything just went sideways. Looks to me like getting a little manipulation under price and a little manipulation above price. So, I kind of define that as an expansion leg because you got the basing action. And then the drop below, drop above. So that's, that I look at that as it's just, I was telling everybody on the stream this morning during Forex Fire because everything was going sideways. I said, guarantee you guys, all the big banks are doing are waiting to see what the retail traders do. They've got boxes wrapped around all this sideways action. They're going to look and see will they push the price down or up. And they're just going to flip it the other side, start manipulating. So this is exactly what they're doing, is watching us right now. And gold is a perfect example when you go down to like a 15-minute time frame or a 1 hour time frame. And I would say actually, 1 hour, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour doesn't really matter. They're all similar thing, but base sideways, price drop down, then they turn around and push price up. So this is manipulation, liquidity hunting. At some point, they'll pick a trend. I mean, and that's why for me personally, when it comes to gold, silver, the bullish fundamentals are so freaking strong with both of them that at some point, I think they'll pick a bullish trend, actual trending, trending price action rather than all this whipsaw nonsense.
Right.
So
armed and ready to go with some demand zones underneath if we can get price to come down to them.
Oh man, dude, I feel like I got to log out of my platform and log back in or something. You mind sharing your screen, and then I'm going to just log out and log back in, see if I can't fix this.
Yeah, awesome. Go ahead back in, flip on over. I'll go through some more of my alerts and kind of finish out my what I'm looking at as far as my watch list goes. If you want to flip on over. Flip on over. I was having some challenges this morning on the picture coming through. So typical Monday. We got something we got to work on.
Man.
I was playing blind for most of the morning. No, actually, I figured out a way around it. Went to the Zoom.
Okay, I was going to say, because I was watching you guys towards the latter end of the stream, like the last like 30 to 40 minutes or so. And your stuff was working fine then, at least.
Yeah, I just, on the VMix, I couldn't see anything. So I just got a way around it. I clicked over to the Zoom part and was just watching everything from there. So, but it took me the first 2 hours to figure that out.
I just messaged the production guys real quick to switch. Nice.
Awesome. Muchas gracias. So just to kind of finish out my watch list here, the DAX and the Nikkei. So the Nikkei, remember when I was showing the COT report, it was the most increase on the bullish or on the net long side. Just taking another quick look at that, Nikkei added 7 and pretty well 8% to their net long percentage. So, be interested in buying the Nikkei because we are now up at a +6. So that one's looking good. I don't think that was on my list early this morning when I was going over the COT for Forex Fire, but it is now. So Nikkei, where you at, Nikkei? I've actually had some pretty decent ones on Nikkei so far in the last couple months. Oh, yeah, I drew up this fun little monster on Nikkei. So it's basically your head and shoulders monster here. So we had price kind of blow through this 4-hour demand, which was inside of a daily, but it wicked all the way through, and then it actually bounced off of this former resistance point. So if we go all the way back, we had a resistance point way back here, July of 2024. Fast forward, we had that same point. It got respected July of this year. So it must like July in this price point. And then now we've wicked down again. So it wicked through my demand zones, but it's so far as of right now, it's respecting that former resistance point. So do I have a trade here? Let me look, because I haven't actually looked at it since we've been on stream. Did I get a trigger candle here? And would have liked to have seen, let me think about this here. I wish these candles weren't going down in volume. That's really the only downfall to this. What do I have? I have a 30-minute demand underneath. Yeah, so I do have this 30-minute demand. I don't like it near as much as I did the 4-hour that it just chewed through, but I do like the volume. So Let me see here. Now, if price hadn't wicked all the way through those two demand zones, I'd have been excited about jumping in this thing. But since it did, technically the demand didn't hold. But again, maybe the banks were just moving towards that former resistance point that held nicely in the past. I might just get into this thing and just include, well, I'm not going to do it right now because I need to see a little better volume pickup. Now, obviously, we're in the Asian session, but we are trading an Asian product with the Nikkei. So let me see. If I were to get into this trade, put my stop loss, I would probably put it actually a little lower and just make it a nice wide deal to incorporate this 30-minute demand over here. Obviously incorporate the former resistance point. Because had I gotten in that's probably it. Because even despite that price jumping through the zone, I still probably would have done a similar thing. It's hard to put a stop loss in the middle of a demand zone, knowing that I could utilize that for some more unfilled orders. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it there. Look at this on a higher time frame for just a second. And let's see, where can I find an overhead supply zone? That qualifies. So on a 1-hour time frame, the problem is it's not really giving me the risk reward I want. Because see, the candle down was obviously a quite strong candle, volume wise, VSA candle wise. Oh man. But it has awesome resistance points it hit. Perhaps maybe I will look at this. Let's see here, 5 minutes. Let's see what 3 minutes looks like. Let's go back to a daily. Perhaps I ignore all this and just look to take it to the top. What would that be? Risk reward. So let's call that 363. So 700, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's about 3.5 to 1. If I just take that to the top.
Take it to the top. Take it to the top.
Yeah, my only holdup is the volume, though. The volume is already dried up. Yeah, we did get a nice wick right on that resistance, but on declining volume on the candles right after. So, dang it!
Right.
If the volume has got me wanting to flip a coin on this, Paul. I could treat it like I did the euro dollar trade, because here's the deal. This is basically the same price action we had on euro dollar earlier. Well, not the same. Yeah, here we go, back over here. But over here, I waited for a break of that after the initial move up from the demand. price kind of settled in at the start of the Asian session, or I should say the after New York closed, or Asian session. But yeah, then the heart of it opened up, and I just put my buy stop overhead. So perhaps I do a similar thing here. Go back here.
Would you also take into account the fact that, or I don't exactly remember the time frame that you were looking at. Was it 15-minute? Was that what it was? 15 minutes? That's what you're looking at?
Well, originally I had a 4-hour demand within a daily.
Okay,
But
so the 4-hour demand.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the 4-hour demand, will you consider if there are lesser candles with lesser volume on the 4-hour demand, but it's because they're during the off times of the currency pair trading? Do you give leeway because of that, or do you still just hold it all relatively the same?
I give it less credence. Yeah,
Gotcha.
because it's easy for a price it's easy for a candle to form with very, very little volume just off a lack of liquidity, right? So no,
Right.
I prefer, and I'm not saying I won't take that trade, but I prefer, and I'll be more, I'll be happier to put my full risk on a trade that forms during the European or London session. The New York London overlap is what I'm trying to say. Or as long as it's formed early in the day, New York time, that's obviously the best because that's where the big banks are the busiest. But yeah, as long as it's not being formed in the Asian session, then I'll definitely be interested in it. But obviously, New York would be my favorite because of the volume, and London would be my second favorite.
Gotcha.
Well, I should say the overlap would be my favorite. New York outside of London would be my second favorite, and then London by itself would be my third favorite if I had to go in order. Asian would be the least important, but at the end of the day, I don't pay that much attention to the session. I'm looking at the volume. What happened during that formation? So typically, that usually always happens, during one of the Europe or New York sessions.
Right.
Because I very rarely, I almost never see those strong, VSA candles in an Asian session. Just hardly ever.
Yeah.
Not on a 4-hour.
Yeah.
Or even a 1 hour. But you could see that form on a smaller time frame. Sometimes you'll get 5 minutes, 15 minutes where you'll have, for whatever reason, a bunch of orders will come through. So it might look good on a 5-minute or 15-minute, but you look at that same price point when you go up to a 4-hour and it's just, not that much volume at all. So that's why I like to look at my zones on the 4-hour. So, but let me see here. I'm just going to set an alert right here. I don't know. It seems like a good idea, but my gut, after years of seeing this type of stuff, is telling me, don't jump into this just yet. So I'm just gonna leave it on standby for now. I could put a buy stop order there, and then just look at it for a top to this dude's melon. Maybe a push up. So we'll just come back to that. Maybe I can find something better. I'm already in a euro dollar trade, so it's not like I'm in a hurry to get into a trade. But let's go through my alerts real quick. So that's the yen, that's the Nikkei. Did you have any updates on your end, by the way?
No, I'm not trading anything. I'm looking to possibly get into an NQ trade soon. But I was just looking at the chat, and I don't believe it. I think it's updated, but I know Niche Crazy mentioned earlier about if he gets an account, he's trading gold.
Gold.
But I will very much look forward to when you do get an account and you are trading gold. I'm looking forward to the updates on the trading with gold, because I will say gold is an interesting one for me. I don't particularly love it, and I don't hate it. It's something I'm just getting used to in general, like trading it. It's a love-hate relationship that I have with gold. So some days are really good, other days aren't the greatest. So but yeah, there are people that just swear by gold though, and they only trade gold and they love gold. And to them, I say kudos and hats off to you. But for me, for whatever reason, like, I just have my good days and my bad days with it. That's all there really is to it. So
Yeah, I was looking at my trading history the other day and realized that gold is the top thing I've been trading
that's
the
awesome.
last month and a half. Yeah, I mean, here I am, a currency trader, but I'm in love with gold lately.
That's okay. It is quite all right to be a good gold trader. There is so much money to be made if you are. So
Yeah,
good on you. That's
yeah. I
awesome.
mean, yeah. I don't know. It just seems like that's been the one I've been trading the most. But and it makes sense. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just been that way ever since Liberation Day.
Right, right.
Gold
You
had
do
its
have
day.
a comment. No sleep narrator Tiger
Oh, yeah.
got posted in Discord. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means. Guess I'll have to take a look. Hopefully,
No sleep. What
hopefully it
you?
was a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
Where's that? That chart talk or what?
Probably.
I have to look it up later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Oh, clip this from today's Quiet Markets live stream. Sums up week so far. I love it. I'll be getting a new green screen, by the way, just so everybody knows. It should be in my mail in the next day or so. So you won't be seeing the cutout like it shows on there. You won't be seeing the cutouts of my arms, but that's funny.
Oh
The
my
tired
god.
trader. Good stuff. I can't. I love it. All right, so getting back into some more of my alerts over here. Good stuff.
It is funny.
Just flip it back over. So, okay, so silver and gold are number 1 and number 2, 13 and 12. My highest bullish score for a currency pair is the pound CAD. So we're going to take a quick look at that. I have got you look at this thing on a daily, it's just basically been a sideways. If I turn on my mask, well, actually, it's not showing it there, but yeah, you just got this contraction box when you're looking at the last week and a half of trading action, much like what we had over here. You had what, 5 days before price finally dropped. So, this one now back here, it wasn't a bullish score. I think that was a neutral or bearish at that point. But now it's become a bullish score. So I have kind of identified this little 4-hour demand down here, although I'm not the biggest fan of it because it did have a little bit of congestion just to the left of it. So I think if I had my ruthers or had my pick of price action, I think what I would prefer to see on this thing is to bust through this overhead supply, this 4-hour supply up here, before coming back, and then I'd be interested in getting into this buy. So come up here
Okay.
and then retrace back and then find a demand zone that forms somewhere along this line for a buy up. Now, that's for the higher time frame. What if I come down to my smaller time frame? Well, I threw this demand zone up here earlier, and it looks like it did wick through it, but it pretty much respected it, only it did it in the after hours, right? So is that a fake move? Is that a false move? Not that candle, because we had pretty decent volume on this candle, but as far as the push down, yeah, that's another thing I try to avoid, Paul, is buying into the 4-hour and the 1-hour demand zones in the Asian market. So that's part of the reason I avoided that. Just don't care for it, or I should say after the New York close. Let's put it that way, because obviously we have a little bit of time in between. But so yeah, if it's after New York, before 7 p.m. Central my time, then I just try to avoid those those after hours doldrums, right? So next option would be further below. Got a 1 hour demand right here on top of a 4 hour demand. So that's a little bit of a zone on top of a zone. Now, again, I just didn't really care that much about that 4 hour. Yes, the volume's kind of increasing. I would have loved to have seen more volume. Let me go back to the 1 hour on that. Yeah, for being an expanded range candle, fair value gap, so I like that. But for being an expanded range candle, didn't really have that sexy of a volume spike. So that's a knock. That's a knock on it. Technically a zone on a zone. So we'll see. I mean, the only way I'm jumping into this trade is if we get a really good volume spike. Like I better see 3x or 4x VSR candles relative to the most recent 5 or 10 candles. If I don't see that, I'm just going to let her go. But that's why I say if I had my choice, then I would prefer to see some breaking out of this area and then come back for a demand zone that might form somewhere in this area. So probably nothing that's going to happen this week. So long story short, pound CAD, probably not interested this week, even though it is my highest score.
Right.
Because it's just kind of diddling in the middle, even if I go all the way down to some smaller time frames. I mean, I could probably take, if this move up starts to form, well, maybe I could come down to a 5 minute or a 10 minute, maybe find a 5 or 10 minute demand and just take a quick scalp out of it. I don't really care for that. Yeah, I just need a little more information. Give me another high point, a little more price action. Yeah, possibly come down to a 5 or 10 if I find something that forms. But it's just too much congestion on the smaller time frames down here for me, for the way I trade. But it was beautiful. It wicked beautifully through the demand. Yeah, again, just didn't get the volume, which is natural. You have people closing out of trades, right at the end of the day, into the intraday changeover. So, yeah, probably going to just let that do its thing for a while. DAX, I've already looked at DAX. It's giving me a 6. I'm not really interested in it. Just don't have any zones. Nikkei, I've already went over. Euro dollar, I've already went over. New Zealand dollar is the other bullish item I have. But because I'm in the euro dollar, I'm probably not going to be interested in jumping into a New Zealand dollar trade just for the sake of not doubling up my risk on one single currency. But if I weren't in the euro dollar, then I'd be interested in this 30-minute. This 30-minute demand down here, which all these alerts I have set probably are pretty much all of them are from the pre-speech price action, like the 5, 15, 30 minutes prior to Powell's speech. Just basically the return to those price actions to try to get some bounces. So, like, I don't know why I have that red. That needs to be green. But, yeah, that's pretty much what I drew up this morning. Give me a little bit of a push down, a little bit of a push up. Let's start to see some manipulation happen. And then ultimately drop into that demand for a buy to the upside. But that's before my euro dollar. So long as my euro dollar continues to look okay, that's obviously my A+ trade right now. It's looked like it's trying to curl around. So that's good. Obviously, it's the lower volume type of the time for the euro and the US dollar. So we'll just let her go. But yeah, New Zealand dollar, probably just going to skip that as well. Let me look over here. So dollar Swiss, dollar Jap. So I'm basically going to ignore the euro and the dollar. So I've basically left with 3 options, 2 of which I'm most interested in: CAD Swiss or CAD Jap to the short side. What you got?
Right. I am long the NQ again, just thinking that we might break through our current, we're kind of like almost double topping in the last hour or so. And I'm thinking that we might break through this area to try and retrace more of that move from the news about Fed Governor Cook And so I'm thinking
Yeah.
with the 1 minute kind of trading above the 21 period EMA at the moment and above overnight VWAP that I see here, thinking maybe we could see some support soon. And I'm just trading the micro NQ though. I'm just trading a couple contracts on the micro NQ. So nothing super crazy or anything. I'm risking like $55. So it might just honestly break
Well,
down here. I wouldn't be terribly surprised. I was looking for like more of a breakout trade. It didn't really do that so far. There was a lot of buying to try and get it to happen. It did not end up succeeding, but then the selling volume to get it back down has been very light and not too aggressive. So I'm wondering if buyers are about to start piling in here again. So yeah. So that's what I'm in
Sweet.
right now. Just my stop is at just so all the market makers know, my stop is at 23,445 if they want to take me out.
Okay. Well, that's nice of you. Nah, I'll go over my 2 last alerts, and then let's flip over and see what you got there.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But yeah, the only other 2 non-dollar and non-euro assets I have right now are the CAD Swiss and the CAD Jap. I have the Aussie dollar Swiss franc for a short as well, but it's one of the slower ATR pairs, one of the slower moving pairs, kind of like molasses. And the supply zones are way, way far away. So I'm not even fooling with that one right now. So yeah, I'm literally just left with CAD, Canada Japanese yen and Canada dollar Swiss franc. So here's the CAD Swiss. Yeah, I'm basically keeping an eye on these 30-minute supplies overhead. Really beautiful, actually. Pretty decent looking zones. Could have been better volume. That's the only real knock on this. But I kind of like them in the context of the overall move. Now, I kind of drew. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. So I technically had a supply zone hit right up in this area, and it actually respected it and moved down. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't too thrilled with that because the 2 candles after, there was no volume. Remember, volume is everything. I can have the sweetest looking zone, but if I don't have the volume proving it, effort not matching result, I typically don't want anything to do with it. But sometimes they work out anyway, right? So that one did. So that obviously negates that one. Now we could potentially look at this. The only problem with looking at that zone is number one, it's a little narrow. And number 2, it didn't form on its own. It formed as a result of another supply zone. So I don't tend to like those types of zones. I like zones that are created out in the middle of nowhere, not forming because of the fact it bounced into another zone, if that makes sense. So,
right.
But by definition, it's a zone, and by definition, it had a nice volume spike. So we'll at least keep an eye on it. I mean, not saying I never take those, but the other thing, too, is how narrow it is. Looks like it's about 3 pips wide. You know what? I don't even want to fool with it. That's way too narrow. That's a 1 hour. That candle right there is a 1 hour candle, and it moved a whopping 2 pips. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not interested. I didn't realize it was that narrow. So, okay, so forget you, CAD Swiss. I ain't want a piece of you. We'll take a look at CAD yen, and I'll be done for the most part on my end. CAD yen, I drew up a 2 hour supply, and I've got a 1 hour supply ahead of it. I've got a downward pushing VWAP, anchored VWAP from this high point here. And it's currently in the middle of that 1 hour supply zone. So we'll see what happens when price comes up. I'd like to see it bounce nicely off of that VWAP, wherever it's at. Maybe it just kind of continues this same little trajectory, right? If that's the case, then I'm looking for price to bounce in and touch it regardless of which zone it's in. If it's in the 2 hour, great. If it's in the 1 hour overhead, great. that's probably going to be my second favorite trade right now outside of the euro dollar that I'm in. Looks
Nice.
like a mess. Looks like a mess, but it helps to have some of these odds enhancers to help filter some stuff out / strengthen the look of some of these supply zones. So yeah, that's technically a zone on top of a zone. So anytime I get that, oftentimes I'll just kind of combine those into one bigger zone and just go with it like that. But I want to keep this clean. I'm just going to look at these two individually because I've got that VWAP coming down. So if I get it, if VWAP, if it touches VWAP in this bottom zone, then I'll have a choice to make. Do I want to put my stop loss just ahead of that first zone like that? Or do I want to be a little more, so that would be aggressive. Or, well, I wouldn't say that's aggressive. That's just on top of this supply. Or do I want to be conservative and put the supply or put the stop loss ahead of this supply zone? So that's really the choice I have to make. It really just kind of depends on which zone it bounces off as far as the VWAP. Clearly, if it's up here, if it rises quite quick, well, then obviously I'll put my supply zone obviously above the higher up zone. But if we get a little bit slower of a push up, then maybe we take a chance and a little aggressive chance, but maybe we just put the stop loss ahead of that bottom supply zone and just ignore that one for the time being. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But either way, I do have my alert set there, so I think that's probably my current favorite outside of the trade I'm already in, which is kind of curling around a little bit nicely. So it looks like we're looking good at the moment on that. So we'll see. I think that's pretty much it for me.
Cool.
Paul, if you wanted to check out your check out your charts
you can switch over to my screen here.
I'll go comment on Discord. That's funny. Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and flip on over to Mr. Paul here. God, that's funny.
It's crazy. Bullish on gold. Hey, I don't blame you. I don't. If whether you're talking about short term or long term, I don't blame you at all. Either way, I am longer term, definitely more bullish on gold. Shorter term, as in like literally right now as we speak, we are kind of stair stepping our way upwards. At the moment, the only thing that I hate about what's happening with gold with this like stair stepping, I can kind of let me just quickly see if I'll just pull it up real quick on the charts here on the 1 minute chart. I don't know if it's easy to see. If I zoom in enough, it is. But essentially, the further we go along, the more the volume is just decreasing. So every upturn and down, like the upturns have less volume and the downturns have relatively decent volume. So I feel like there's going to be a point that there would relatively be a point where the buyers just give up and then just a relative sell-off occurs, like the full kind of U shape that we've been trying to form since roughly an hour and 20 minutes ago. I don't know if it's going to fully form to then see a breakout of the 34 area. I could see it only getting like halfway and then kind of failing, but that's just one scenario that I could see based on the volume. But to be fair, the volume that we just saw come in on the buy side was pretty decent. But it kind of got held up here. So if it breaks through this area if it breaks through the 34.28 area on some pretty good volume, but I was saying could definitely be null and void. So, but yeah, I was keeping an eye on it. I just didn't like the way that the volume was playing around the last like 40 minutes or so. But yeah, back to M&Q here. let's see what's going on. We're just forming a consolidation pattern again. Looks like it feels like we want to break out at some point. So I am long the MNQ. I'm long only 3 micros. Looking for the breakout and just looking to retrace. Like I said earlier, just looking to retrace this area that we dipped from. I'll just highlight it with a purple rectangle. Kind of looking
that
to
Michael's
get back
half
into
a bat right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I was going to mention it to you earlier, and then I just was like, I'll talk about it later. And I forgot about it, and you recognized it right away. It's so funny.
Yep. I've seen his half bats every day for 2 months now. So
you are, man. It's so funny. I love that there's another trader on our team that recognizes that same type of pattern and like gives it the weight that I think it deserves. So
I just love the name of it.
Yeah, right.
That's the greatest name ever.
Big fan of Coach Michael for repping that pattern there. So, but yeah, so anywhere in this like general purple area is kind of where I'm wanting to see price revisit, which is basically where the dive occurred after Trump fired federal governor Cook. Mm-hmm. So let's see it happen. I feel like it's going to happen. So come on.
Got me wanting to get into that trade. Let's see. Let's see. Did it run into any zones though?
Didn't get the greatest execution on it. I got pretty terrible execution on it actually, but the risk, the reward is there, so it's all good.
Shoot, if that would have made a little bit more of a decline, I would have been interested in it, just from a technical only aspect. Because when it comes to the indices that I'm tracking, I believe they're all neutral. Yeah, you got. Let me put my neutral back in. So Dow is a 1, NASDAQ is a 0, S&P is a 0, and the Russell, even though I don't trade it because I don't have it on any of my brokers, it's a 3. But then you got Nikkei and DAX at a 6. So the first time I've seen the U.S. indices at neutral for quite a while because they've been on my bullish list forever.
Right.
At least the last couple of months, but. Yeah, with this, with the speech, like I said, the speech Friday, man, it just changed everything. Dropped the indices, and on the opposite end, jacked up the precious metals. So, that's not that's not me saying I don't want to trade the indices because I still will. I'll just do it only on a smaller time frame. The smaller time frame, scalpies.
Right. Yeah, no, you'll do some Sam trades,
well, maybe not that quick.
The scalping. Just kidding. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's
quickest.
He's super quick at it. I laugh because
he's like. I was gonna say he's like one of those samurais. He's like one of those like in a show where like you have like a quick like a swordsman who can like cut so quick you just see them like pull out the sword for a second and put it back in, and it doesn't even look like they did anything. They just kind of like undid it from its sheath and then put it back, and then it like cuts through a tree or something. That's Sam with the scalping. He's just an absolute maniac when it comes to how quick he is, but it's awesome.
He's in and out. He's in and out of his trades before he has a chance to finish his first sentence, which is "I'm in a trade."
He really does. We say it all the time. It's too good, man.
Looks like he does pretty good at it, though. Whatever he's doing, don't change it, right?
That's what exactly. He's got a very specific methodology that he uses on the market profile with like gaps in volume, and he is a menace at trading his strategy. Like he is very, very good. Very good. Like extremely impressive at how disciplined he is in his scalping strategy. And he's just got a really keen eye for trading like in between low volume gaps and whatnot, and in the market profile on an intraday basis. So kudos to Sam for sure.
He's not just a sniper. He's the trainer of snipers.
he freaking is, man. He is. You never want to be in his path if you are an indice primed for scalping.
Right.
Man, this is Chop City here. This is Chop City on the NASDAQ, I must say. I don't. We had a lot of volume up at the top of the range here, and we did not break through. So in my head, this seems like it would be possibly more of a chance of a failure of this to the upside here. But technically, we're still above the 21 period EMA on the 5 minute, which is what I'm, basing my my stop off essentially. So I'm just gonna let it ride, see if it can't hold my 21 here. I'll pull up the 5 minute to show everybody. All right. That red line is the 21 for me. So got my stop right below it. See if we can't keep the trend going. Come on. Prove me wrong, NASDAQ. It's okay. Prove me wrong in saying that, that it doesn't look good anymore. It can't continue. Just prove me wrong.
That air is coming in. Air's coming in my bedroom window, and it feels good.
Nice.
It's the first day I've been able to have the window open during any of my streams because it's been so warm, and even overnight for the Forex fire, it's been hot. But it's nice to finally have it. Fresh air is the best. The fact that I also have right outside of my window is a pond, and there's a big water sprinkler inside. So just to listen to the ambiance of the sprinkler shooting its water, it's just best. Super relaxed,
peaceful,
super chill, very peaceful.
Yes,
get lost in it.
Just you saying that, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. But the amount of wildlife that could come into my house from leaving a window open or anything for a prolonged period of time is just not even close to being a possibility for me. I mean, the mosquitoes and whatnot that would just ravage my house would be
sure. Oh, we got them too, but got a good screen there, so thankfully.
Oh, you got a screen? Yeah, duh, of course.
I got a screen.
I was thinking of
like a all the way open window. Nah.
No, that would definitely be.
I definitely would be getting eat up if that were the case. Because we got a pond, so probably mosquitoes down there.
Yeah,
they don't. I live on the 3rd floor, so then you go over my patio, and it's down 3 floors to the courtyard. The pond is literally 20 yards away, if that, and then the sprinkler is probably about 40 yards. So it's super close, which means the water sounds super nice. I love it.
That's awesome. All right, the NASDAQ's trying to go here. Come on, do it, go.
Get on up.
I don't even have my target profit at the right area here. Got to bring it in. There we go.
There you are. Bust through your 50.
Come on, please.
Yeah, I was looking. I think Tony. I think he uses. Was it just the 9 and the 21? Was it? I see you got 9, 21, and 50, but I think he. Oh, there you go. Let's
go. It went into the purple range, so I was like, you know what? Let's just move the target profit to there, and it just did it so quickly. It just jumped up literally 15 points in 10 seconds. So Sorry, what were you saying about Coach Tony? I was just drilled in on
I
that.
wanna see you laughing in the purple range. Purple range. Purple range.
Purple.
No, I
That's
was
so great.
I was looking at his EMAs the other day. I think he uses 9 and 21, was it? Because I know you got 9, 21, and 50. I noticed he doesn't use
He
50,
did.
but I think it was the 9 and 21. Is that right?
Yeah, right. You're exactly
Yep.
right. We both use the 9 and 21. He doesn't use the 50. I use the 50. Um,
Yeah.
but but regardless, like the only reason I use the 50 is because I find a lot of the time on like deeper pullbacks in like the 1 minute or the 5 minute that the 50 does act as like a trendy support or resistance at times. So um, I just like it as that like final trend pullback support or resistance zone that if I wanted to get in on a trade and it made sense because it was respecting that area maybe over like once or twice over the last hour of its trend, let's say, and the opportunity comes to where like the pullback occurs that's deep enough to get to there, I will get in long on like a little bit of a position for like a
Mm-hmm.
quick reversal trade of sorts. So anyway, 50 period I think can be very useful. It's just you got to be willing to trust the trend that it's going to continue. It's just a little bit of a deeper pullback or a little bit of a quicker, whatever you would call that for the short side, essentially. So,
Yeah. And then
yeah.
Daryl and Troy and Sam, are they using some of those same EMAs too? 921?
No. I think Troy might use an EMA or a SMA or something. I think he probably pays attention to them just like a little bit. But I'm not entirely sure if he uses it necessarily to get into like entries for trades or anything. Like me and Tony do. Me and Tony use them, I think, a lot more than anybody else. I know Sam doesn't use them at all, and Daryl doesn't use them either. So, but yeah, it's something I love. I love the EMAs. They help me out so much, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Just helps me out when like a market is in a trend and it's been in a trend for a while, and you feel like if like people will feel like, oh man, I missed out. I should have gotten long 25 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, and the market's moved already and I don't have the opportunity. Like the EMAs help you kind of, they'll sometimes give like rough estimates of like if a pullback occurs, you can get in around here, and gives you a little bit better of a risk reward idea of the current trend and allow you to maybe still participate in the move. So that's just my 2 cents, though. That's all. It helps me with not feeling like I can't get in on this trade because the market's already moved. A lot of the times you can say that, and then the market just moves 2 or 3 times more than what it already did. So I hate that excuse for myself to not get into a trade because a market has already made its move. So I've always hated when I have to say that to myself. I'm like, I can't get in because the move already happened. It's like, well, it's been trending for 45 minutes. Who says it's not going to trend for another hour and a half, And then it does
Yeah.
sometime. So,
Yeah, no, we kind of had a little bit of discussion like that this morning because, like, I was showing on a couple, I think, Bitcoin and something else where, yeah, it had come down on my higher time zone, my time frame, 4 hour zones, hit price. Of course, it happens. Loves to happen when I'm taking my nap between this session and the Forex Fire session. It happens so many times, it's crazy. But yeah, there was one that I think it was Bitcoin dropped in nicely, but price rejected off the demand zone and bounced up pretty good. But I told myself this morning, I was like, yeah, I really wanted to get into that, but I didn't. If I get in now, I'd be chasing it. I'd be FOMO chasing it. So I said, but the other thing to do is maybe skip down to a 15-minute time frame. I mean, if you miss it on one higher time frame, possibly you could go down to a smaller time frame and just catch that new curl around price action. And obviously it'd be a tighter stop because you're looking at everything on a smaller time frame. But it's kind of like a second chance to get in. I'm not allowed to use the higher time frame, stop loss, because that's obviously moving my risk a lot higher, closing the risk reward gap. So, closer supply, closer stop loss, closer take profit, and you could potentially get that second chance trade, I guess I call it. But
yeah, for sure.
Sometimes that works. A lot of times it doesn't. But once in a while, you can get in on a good one like that. So.
Yeah.
And as far as moving averages, I've never really used them that much, and I think the main reason is only because I've always been limited on how many things I can have on my screen. Well, I did finally last week upgrade my TradingView package, so now I can have 10 indicators on my screen rather than just the 5, which I don't even count a lot of them as indicators. I mean, I've got like my sessions indicator, just simply painting the background of whatever session I'm in. My order block tool, my master pattern indicator. And then, of course, I had my volume spread analysis and my RSI. So let's see, order block, master pattern, sessions, RSI, and volume spread analysis. So yeah, that was my 5. So that was the 5 that I left on there. Moving averages I never had on because I looked at the other ones as more important. But now that I have the ability to put 10 indicators on, I am going to actually put my moving average ribbon on there. I'm just probably just going to keep it something simple, 10, 25, or what did I put on here? Just to kind of turn it on and off every so often. I mean, I think it defaults to 20, 50, 100, 200. Well, that's probably something I'm going to be playing around with now, is just kind of, leaving it off for the most part. But if I ever want to see if I'm getting any confluence, just flip it on for a second, just so I don't have lines all over my chart. I just don't personally like lines all over my chart. Yeah, I like the anchored VWAP line on there because I definitely want to be aware of that one. But then to have a ribbon on there, or even if it's just 1 or 2 extra, it's just too many lines for my personal taste. But
when you sometimes it just looks like spaghetti all over the place, and it doesn't look too clean, and I completely get it. Do you prefer SMAs or the EMAs? Like for me, I'm using EMAs specifically. I do not use simple moving averages because the whole point with me when I'm using this for intraday, very short term trend and momentum, I'm looking for EMAs because it puts way more emphasis on the trades previous that have happened sooner. Yeah, sooner than what has happened, 40 minutes ago. So that's the whole point and the reason why I have to use the EMAs instead of the simple.
Yeah.
So do you use the simple or for your style?
To be honest, I've never really used them. So I'm open. I mean, I'm wide open. I mean, with me personally, I prefer obviously the higher time frames, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. So I don't
simple
do it.
Might work
but here's the thing. I think I will prefer the EMAs because I will be starting to do a lot more scalping, especially being on these different time zones, these different trading sessions. So I'm wide open, to be honest. It's something I'm going to play around with. I don't know. I may just kind of play around with both SMA and EMA. But no, I think the EMA, because I agree with you. I mean, I know the EMAs obviously put more emphasis on the more recent candles. So scalping, it seemed to me like that would make more sense, right?
Yeah, no, exactly, for sure. Like I could see the SMAs working well for like longer term structure, and then exactly, and like you're saying, the EMAs for the scalping stuff and whatnot, more so. So I think I think I'm right there with you, honestly. And then like I think we were having a little bit of a discussion about this in the earlier, and we were kind of talking about how just like SMAs are one of those things where also so many people use SMAs that it can become one of those like self-fulfilling prophecies where like so many people use it and pay attention to it that there will be enough volume at times it's being traded based off of them in confluence with other things to then make it work for you. And there are certain people that are really good at using that type of indicator, and they don't need the EMA. They just use the SMAs, and it's all good and dandy, and they have it figured out. So it's like, who am I to judge? I mean, somebody's probably a better trend trader than I am, and they use SMAs instead of EMAs. So it's just EMAs help me out more. Like it allows me to feel like more comfortable, and it makes more sense to me. So that's the only reason. But
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that the EMA, I mean, I feel like the more recent the candle, the higher the importance anyway, relative to the,
yeah,
further back candles. So thankfully,
same.
this ribbon tool actually gives me the ability to switch it to EMA. So that's actually what I'm going to do. Because there's a huge difference from SMA to EMA when you look at the more recent price action. And we're talking 30, 40, 50 pips just looking at points, just looking at the NAS 100, just as an example, on a 15-minute time frame. So it's quite the difference. So yeah, I'm actually going to flip all these over since it gives me the ability to do that. But yeah, it started with 20, 50, 100, 200. I'm just going to kind of play around with them. I know everybody's got an answer as to which one's the best. It's all subjective. So I don't know. I may just play around with those for now. I used moving averages way, way early on in my trading career, but it's been so long ago, I just forgot everything about them, to be quite honest.
Right. I get that. What does chat think? Anybody in the chat prefer EMAs, SMAs, or nada? None of them. Zero, zilch.
No wrong answer either. Just be interested to see what y'all got.
Oh yeah, there's definitely no wrong answer, for sure.
But I like your thinking on the EMAs over the SMAs for sure.
Yeah.
Not really getting a lot of euro dollar just kind of did its spike, got me into the trade, and just kind of slowly going down a little bit. So we'll see if we can stick with it here.
I'm trying to I think I'm going to sit on my hands for the last 10 minutes of this session. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about the fact that I had this, this zone picked out and we spiked into it and then got sold down relatively quickly. And I was able to get that trade done with. Feels pretty great, and I don't want to take away that feeling by getting into a last second trade here. So I'll take my $176 and go to the bank and get some good night's sleep.
There you go. I'm sitting at plus 22.72, plus 23.
Yeah, let's go.
Unrealized, so got enough for a good cheeseburger and some fries, maybe a little ice cream on the side.
Dude, 3 for me at Chili's, man. 3 for me for $10. You're getting a full-blown meal. Got to go to Chili's.
Well, and we got one here, so 3 for 10, eh?
Dude. Yeah, you get a drink, an appetizer. There is a very limited it's a limited menu, but drink like soda or tea or whatever. Appetizer, so you can get chips and salsa, or there's a couple other things, and then one of the 4 or 5 menu items. The burger is the cheapest one, which is $10.99 or whatever, which is what I usually get with the chicken sandwich, which is extra $2 extra or something like that. But dude, such a good deal.
I know my girl likes the cheeseburgers there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never was a burger person. I like Five Guys. I love Five Guys. For not being a burger person, Five Guys, I love it. Probably the most unhealthy burger ever, but the way they freshly slice the jalapenos, and they put the grilled mushrooms on it, the barbecue sauce, the mayonnaise, the bacon. I'm not even a bacon fan. Yes, I'm a Kansan, and I just made that statement. I'm not a bacon fan. But I love the way they do it. Man, it's not the $5 burger anymore, Paul. It's a lie. It's turned into a $10 burger.
Dude, five guys, you got to go donate a kidney in order to get one of those burgers at this point. It's ridiculous, man. It is so.
I mean,
I never go there because it's just like it's more expensive than that. Even in Orlando here, it's like Five Guys is almost like
oh
a
man,
freaking luxury at this point. I
yeah.
literally I could go sit down at a Chili's and get like 4 times the food, or I could go to Five Guys and for the same price. So it's kind of
I
crazy.
mean,
But
I gotta hand it to them though. They do pretty well with their fries. They're definitely not slouches on their
oh yeah,
fries. I made a
yeah,
mistake. First time
that's
I
the
ever went to a Five Guys was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I went there, helped a buddy move into Fort Bragg. He was in the Army, but they had a Five Guys there, and we stopped in, and I made the mistake of ordering a medium fry with my burger, not knowing
so
anything
you got
any better. I'm like, I'm like, what the heck? This gigantic ass bag of fries. So nowadays, if I go with somebody, 2 or 3 people, yeah, we're splitting a small. Small's all you need. You
yeah,
don't need to. I mean, unless you're buying
yep.
for an army, go for medium or large. But my gosh, they are definitely not stingy on their fries. They're so
Dude,
good too.
it's their selling point. I mean, like for how much they charge, they need to do that. Like, give me 7 potatoes for the amount that you're charging me for this burger. Like at this point, it's deserved.
Make
It's
up for
very
it.
much deserved. I like because I like Shake Shack and whatnot too. Like I do like Shake Shack and like I love Shake Shack burgers, for example. But again,
Yeah.
like for what you're getting, like for like $12 for like a double cheeseburger, essentially, I'm just like
Yeah.
I just can't justify it except for like once in a blue moon, like or like when it just like feels right and it's like all right, I want to treat myself or something, because just a bit much. I mean, smash burgers. I just love smash burgers. That's why I love the
Smash
Shake
burger's
Shack
good.
burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, I love it. Smash burger's good.
Hmm. Yeah, man.
But Five Guys also has their size chart that's completely changed now. What is it like? It's the silliest thing I've ever seen. What is it like? Oh my gosh, I'm looking here. It's not like small,
I haven't.
medium, large. Like, oh yeah. So their burgers, they're they got they got little burger, little hamburger, little cheeseburger, little bacon burger, little bacon cheeseburger. So they call that the basically the medium. And then for just a regular large burger, they're just called hamburger cheeseburger, bacon burger, bacon
That's
cheeseburger.
that's funny.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
I don't.
make any sense.
It makes no sense. I can't even understand it because I always would. Or okay, that's right. So the little burger is the single patty. That's basically what it is. And then the just
Okay.
regular hamburger is a double patty. That's it. That's
Got
it. I
it.
remember now. Because you can't just go in
Okay.
and say I want a double cheeseburger anymore. You got to say I just want a cheeseburger.
That's so weird. That's
I
crazy.
know.
Like that doesn't make any sense. That's oh man.
Yep.
Like
It's-
at this
some
point,
of these rebrands.
yeah,
Crazy.
just get ourselves a quarter pounder at Mickey D's and call it a day. At this point, easy, simple, straight.
Block away from where I live. I don't even. Yeah, nah. I don't even eat Mickey D's. I used to like getting their breakfast burritos now and then. They were pretty good.
Yeah. No,
But
no. I
now I have a choice of McDonald's breakfast burritos or Taco Bell's breakfast burritos, and they're right next to them. Well, they make them fresh, so I get those every now and then. Pretty good.
right. I used to be obsessed with the like McGriddles when I was younger. I was obsessed with those things.
Yeah.
But I'm unhealthily addicted to. I mean, like I'm addicted in the sense of like I don't ever get them, but like if I was to get them, I would be just on them for months at a time, once a week or so. But the double quarter pounder with cheese at McDonald's, I don't care what anybody says for fast food. That is hard to beat. A double quarter pounder with cheese at McDonald's. I freaking love them so much. They're so good. But I stay away.
If it weren't for the fact that I cannot stand onions, I would probably enjoy it. But
That's funny.
I cannot. It's not that I don't like onions, Paul. It's just that I hate them.
Yeah, you
So it's
literally hate them. Yeah,
stronger.
that's fun.
So that's why I never cared for McDonald's, because I remember still as a kid being scarred from getting the Happy Meals and having those slivered onions inside, and I just couldn't handle it. Like I would always tell my mother or my father or whoever, my sister, no onions, and half the time they would forget. So I've basically been scarred for McDonald's because of that. So that's why I don't ever get the burgers.
That's funny, man. That's hilarious.
Now when I go through a drive-through, if I ever get something that might have onions, I always tell them I need a double side of no onions. I say it just like that.
For real.
Paint it up
I will flip out if I get onions on this.
Yes.
Oh man, I love onions, dude. So I'm like, it's hilarious. I'm in the opposite boat. I freaking love onions.
You can have my share then. My lifetime share goes to you, Paul.
I will.
But what I don't eat is onions. I make up for in jalapenos. So there's that.
I love jalapenos too, dude. So good. But looks like we're on time here. 10 seconds left.
Oh wow, here we go.
Great trade.
5 seconds.
Great trading session. I mean, fantastic.
Yeah.
I got to trade a bunch. You were in a trade. You're in a. You got to analyze all the Forex stuff. Hell yeah! No, it was a good night for sure. Had some volatility, so worked out well. But I will see you tomorrow night. And everybody, make sure to join for the Forex Fire session early tomorrow morning, and the futures, the main futures regular trading hour session as well. So, with that being said, it's been a pleasure. Thank you everybody for tuning in, Coach Tiger. I'll catch you tomorrow.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
See you, man.
Peace.
You too.
All right.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.